Good evening, everybody. Tonight I am going to make baked spaghetti, and I'm going to be using the penne noodles in my hamburger meat. This is like 1.5 pounds of hamburger meat. I'm going to be using my seasoning blend. This has onions, bell pepper, red and green, and it has celery. So to me, this is like the perfect blend where you don't have to chop everything up, you know. But if you were going to chop things up, I would say use a small onion and half a bell pepper. I'm also going to be putting in my salt, and I kind of just sprinkle it over the top because I'm going to have to taste it as it goes. Let me get this turned on. I'm going to use garlic powder. I'm going to use some pepper. Again, just, you know, the way I do it is I usually just sprinkle it over the top, and then, you know, I taste it after a while, and then I'm going to use my mixed up salts. If you've never tried this, this is just kind of a blend of salt, pepper, oregano, some other spices. I just really like to use it in pretty much everything. And then, of course, my Italian seasoning. I'm going to put a little bit of the Italian right now. And then after it cooks a little while, I'm going to put some more in there. Okay? So now I'm going to get this all browned. And once it's browned, I'm going to be putting in diced tomatoes, tomato sauce, and tomato paste. Before it goes in the oven, I'm going to be putting Parmesan cheese, sharp cheddar, and Italian blend over the top. And I'm going to bake this at 350 in the oven after all of this is all cooked. So let me get this browned and we'll go on to the next step. Okay, so once your meat is cooked and browned and your vegetables are clear, you're going to add in your sauce, your tomatoes, your tomato paste. Sorry, I thought I had a spoon and I didn't. And then for water, usually what I do is I fill up each can with water, and that seems to give me just the right amount. So I'm gonna just start with this big can and just kind of, you know, make sure that you get all the stuff out, and then the rest of that in there. So you're just going to make sure you get all the goodies out. I'll probably add another of the small cans of water. I'm going to just check it first. You want your sauce to be thick, but you don't want it to be so thick you don't have any gravy. But this looks like it's going to be good. I might add, like I said, just another can of water after it. I'm going to turn it down to a medium, and I'm going to cover it and let it simmer for about 30 minutes. I'm going to get my noodles cooked, and then we will go on to the next step. And with the noodles, I just put some salt in the water and then cook them until they are al dente or al dente, however you say that. All right, so once this is finished simmering and the noodles are done, we'll go to the next step. Okay, so the spaghetti sauce has been simmering for about 35-40 minutes. I got my noodles done. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put Parmesan cheese on the noodles. You don't have to do this. Of course, you don't have to do any of it. But I like to do this. To me, it kind of like gives you that extra little cheesy on it. And then you're just going to pour this on there, actually. There's no fancy way of doing it. Just kind of whoop. And I am, ow. It's messy, okay? It's a little bit messy. Okay. The stove is hot, so I had to kind of do that towards the back. That's why, because my stove is hot in the front. So you're just going to kind of spread this out. I didn't add more water. I did taste it about 10 minutes before it was done. I did add some more salt and some more garlic powder and a little bit more Italian seasoning. Okay, so once you get that, you're going to want to make sure that all of it, you can see that all of the liquid has sunk all the way through. Make sure everything is all good and covered. Okay. All right. Now, I like to mix my cheeses. Now, if you want to use just mozzarella, or if you like this Italian blend, which has mozzarella, provolone, Parmesan, Asiago, and Romano, you can just use that. I like kind of mixing my cheeses because I like the different flavors. So I'm going to put down a good layer of this Italian blend. And I'm going to put on some of my cheddar. Now the cheddar I'm going to kind of just sprinkle all the way around. Just, you know, kind of a good layer of it. Okay. Now I'm going to finish up with the rest of the Italian. So let me get this fully covered in my cheese, and I'll show you what it looks like before it goes in the oven. Okay, so got a good layer of cheese. I did use the whole bag of the Italian blend, and I used maybe half of the bag of the cheddar, sharp cheddar on there. Again, you can use whatever cheese you like, just, you know, whatever your family prefers. I'm going to put this in the oven uncovered for about 20 to 30 minutes, or until all the cheese is nice and melted and kind of got a little bit of a brownness on the top. When it comes out the oven, I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so the baked spaghetti just came out of the oven. As you can see, the cheese is nice and browned on the top. I made some homemade yeast rolls last night, so I'm going to just butter these up and fry them with a little bit of garlic powder and Italian seasoning. Or you could do this with regular bread, or you know, any kind of roll. This is just really, I just really enjoy it this way. Like I said, you just kind of butter it up and you're going to fry it in the pan. I'll go ahead and put some. Yeah, and I like a lot of butter. So, and you just sprinkle, just like if you're making garlic bread. But this is with the homemade yeast rolls, and they are just so good. So, and I'm going to just put a little bit of Italian seasoning. I mean, not much. I don't really like, you know, I don't really like that much of it on there. So I'm going to get these fried up, and then I'm going to give this time to rest, and then I'm going to plate it up, and I will show y'all when it's done. Okay, as you can see, I just cut me out a section here. Look at all the cheesies. You see the side here. And my toasted bread. I'm going to let this cool just a minute because it is really hot, and I will take me a bite. Okay, so I've given this a minute to cool off, so I'm going to take me a bite and look at all the cheeses. The baked spaghetti with that fried bread. Killer. If y'all have any questions, let me know. If not, enjoy, y'all.